Hello viewers, welcome to another Odyssey Nostalgia Raid Guide. In this particular video, we are tackling Khandaq in nothing but unmodded tier 1 gear with 60 spent skill points, blue PvP vendor weapons, rings and neck pieces. This is Anha and I am joined by
Ivybird,
Cosmico,
Dreadwolf,
Mitchell,
Pushka,
Flame Fury,
Saiyan,
Tesseract.
and we begin from the tank's perspective, Cosmico.
hooray!
and there
Probably
was
worth
much
mentioning
rejoicing.
that there's no feats achievable through this except for two, which is complete Kandak in normal and to complete Kandak within a certain amount of time, which was
1 hour.
1 hour. As you can see there, Cosmico picked up the rock which you have to use to plug the vents. He did approach the wrong one to show you that the arrow does indicate which direction you need to head in.
Totally.
Best advice for this bit, you've got two water keepers which spawn on the left and right of that central bit. If you split your team into two teams of 4, if you're going with the standard setup, so you've got one tank, one DPS, one controller and one healer. And then on the other side is 2 DPS, one controller and one healer. We switched to Tesseract's view there as a controller. Tess, what was your job for these, for the water keepers?
Well, as well as keeping up powered over time, in this particular instance you really want to stun at least one of the water keepers so that they can't attack the rock whilst the DPS focus on the other ones. As soon as you get a decent level of Vita, then this becomes pretty much no issue, but at this sort of level, when we still don't have that much power to be given out, you really are watching your bar, making sure you've got enough power to use your different moves.
Even today we still have the issue where the DPS is attacking the wrong water keeper, so the controller's wasting their time trying to subdue one of them and the other one's left unchecked, so you really want to make sure your DPS are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we switch to Dreadwolf's view here. You can see him targeting that left water keeper while the controller stunned the right one. This bit's really simple, it's just a straightforward take the water keepers down quicker than they can damage that rock. If they do happen to do too much damage, it will break and you have to restart that section again.
a suggestion for any nature healers or DPS that are doing this section. You can juggle the water keepers quite nicely with Savage Growth to make the job a little bit easier for the controllers and DPS. I wouldn't suggest staying up close to them too long, but it's a good idea in general.
Also, if you go melee, then they sometimes start trying to attack you instead of the rock.
But depending on your gear, be a bit careful. It can cause a lot of damage.
Biggest issue I find as a DPS as you go through this particular raid, you can see the number of ads dotted around, so when you're tabbing through the targets, it can be really painful sometimes.
The other issue to watch out for is that the buildings, the little tents in the middle of the two areas can and do block line of sight, so you've really got to be careful to make sure you're able to get everybody with your heals and power.
A good tip when you try to target something in a group of mobs is to make sure you're aiming like you're facing the target you want to target, and you drop target so the cursor comes to the one you want to do.
Aqueduct was sealed and you can see we switched over to Mitchell bug form.
So Mitchell, about bug farm.
Don't. Yeah, what? When you're healing, I always try and stay in the middle there because of the line of sight issues Tess was talking about.
You can see the rock was picked up on the left there, brought over. You got the 4 and 4 split for your team again.
I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I was using Mesmerizing Lasso on my tank. I had the ability sometimes, just to the CC.
Something that I noticed on this section, I don't know how relevant it is now with the T4 armor, but just the controllers on each section, the right and the left, need to do a power over time. Well, that's what I was told during the raid, and I wasn't aware of that. Probably now you can just get away with one controller doing POT for the whole team.
Yeah, locate them in the middle. Like we have Mitchell there, staying in middle CS, line of sights, both directions. Throw POT.
Yeah.
As soon as the Aqueduct's sealed, any remaining water keepers will despawn. The ads you see dotted around will keep spawning, so even if you take some down, more will appear. So generally just best to DPS as you go, rather than stopping specifically to take them down. Again, 4 and 4 split. Line of sight shouldn't be an issue here. Having some issues with that targeting.
There's so many ads, isn't there?
Yeah.
I will say from an Earth DPS though, I would make sure like the main move that I use a lot would be Jackhammer. In any Earth DPS starting off would just make sure that your power bar is full before you even start jackhammering here. Just a point.
Yeah, Rob mentioned the 4-4 split on this bit as well, but once you get your gear up, you don't need to do that. You can all just focus on the left, then the middle left, right left, and yeah, just go around in a circle.
Oh no, the rock was destroyed!
If the rock is destroyed, you need to restart that section again. So you can see the rock's gone in and the countdown timer has restarted.
There really aren't many issues here at this point with healing. It does come down to your DPS's ability to take down the water keepers quickly enough, and your tank controllers being able to crowd control them.
Yeah, speaking of controlling, you were hard light this time, Tess.
Yeah, that was fun.
How big would you say the differences would be?
It's probably the most unique kind of controlling, but you've still got the controlling itself is still very similar. You know, you've got powered over time, which works exactly the same way. You've got your instant recharge, which works exactly the same way. It's really just the flavour that changes. Hardlight's got a lot of nice stuns and things. I couldn't say that I was using a particularly good loadout. It seemed to be working at the time.
Did you miss the aggro dump?
Oh, I missed the aggro dump so much. I do have a shield on my bar that I pop to get someone up.
So the rock has safely plugged the aqueduct and General has spawned.
Backs against the walls, guys. General
Yep.
Outland.
Standard tactic, you keep everyone away from that back edge, because if you happen to get pushed off, there are enemies down there. They'll ground you.
And there's the shield.
Had 2
It's just not
drops.
the same though.
Yeah, that guy chucks out little grenades, and if you're on top of them, you pretty much get one shot in this game.
He nearly took me out there. He's some crazy damage.
I think I went off at one point actually.
Yeah,
He's
you're
called
on.
for reinforcements. The ads spawn, but they're just inconsequential really. You want to throw out your AoEs, they'll go down as a consequence.
The pushback he does with those missile strikes can't be blocked through or defended against. So
I was using breakout moves.
There I go.
I was saying. But then
Goodbye.
PvP trinkets will nullify the pushback if you time it right, and so will Winter Ward, which is what I was using. So anytime he'd do a knockback, I try and clip it straight away with that ability, so that I wouldn't get pushed away from him, and I could hold the aggro.
Most of your DPS won't be running with that. The knockbacks don't cause damage really. So if
They're
you get
just
pushed
very
back,
annoying.
yeah, you just have to get back into the fray. And the boss is down, loot is given. Just take out what's left.
Yes, you can see what we're doing here is we're actually fighting the ads down here. What we usually do is we just fly past them all.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why we did jump down to face them. I think it was just to show what is down there. Generally speaking, you can just head off the ledge and go straight across to the 3 buttons, which we do now, I believe. Yeah, just fly over.
I think we jumped down to rescue Saiyan.
It would be saying.
Yeah, it's me.
Well, I think that's the reason for taking down those couple of mobs on the ledge on that last arena, because they can knock flyers and stuff out of the sky. So you drop down if you're flying straight over to this part, I mean.
Yeah, the orange arrow will tell you to go on a convoluted route through the roads of Khandaq, but you can just jump straight over to this bit.
It appears we forgot how to count to 3 at this bit.
We would do this. If you keep doing it wrong, enemies will keep spawning. So you really need to time it, otherwise you'll be in there for a while.
There we go.
Vocal communication is obviously key to most successful runs.
You really want to get people with shields hitting those buttons as well, just in case that there's a lot of ads around. You can get hit with some AoE damage.
Try not to be surrounded by ads as well during the cutscene, because sometimes you do die in the cutscene.
Upon hitting those 3 buttons, you face a little mini-boss. When he's down, again, you'll get told to head in a certain direction, but if you head up on the right and over, as you can see Cosmic's doing, it's a shortcut to the next 3 buttons. Same tactics apply again. If you press it incorrectly, enemies will spawn. But upon successfully hitting all 3, you get another mini-boss at the top of that ledge. Ramp, whatever it's called.
I think we'd clearly figured out how to count to 3 that time.
Success.
There aren't any particularly tricky mechanics to these mini-bosses. Straightforward DPS race.
Love putting the totem in the middle of all those ads there. Lovely.
They do follow if you don't take them out, but again, they're minor annoyances rather than anything. Yeah.
I think they despawn as well once you've activated these last 3 thingamajiggies.
Yes, they do, and we start off with an actual boss.
Well, no, if you stand where I stand there, then you only get knocked back a short bit instead of halfway across the map.
Just try and turn him around from the group. You're standing on the hill so that when he does do the knockback, you're still relatively close to him. You can just lunge straight back into him. He's a fairly standard boss, nothing amazingly complex about him.
He does spawn ads, but again, inconsequential. They'll go down as a consequence of any AoE attacks you've got going on.
And the boss does have quite a nasty short-ranged AoE around himself.
It's a sand thing that he puts down, isn't it?
Sandblast, yeah, it looks like.
It looks like that debris field from Earth, almost. Yeah, you can see my health go down pretty fast there, and boom, I'm dead.
And Saiyans close behind. Bang!
Yeah, typical DPSers.
At that proximity, it is quite difficult to get somebody up unless you're using a shield. You can see his AoE, the ads.
Here's Cause and a bit of sightseeing.
It's a lovely view, isn't it?
When that boss is dead, you head over to the crystal carrying phase. Generally, this falls to the tank.
Preferably you should spec into super strength as well so you can carry it a bit quicker.
It does give you that slight increase in movement. And again, you've got that arrow pointing in the direction you need to be heading. You'll have continual waves of enemies coming from the direction I'm heading in now. Very weak. Can be taken down very quickly. You want to keep a little bit of distance ahead of the tank to make sure he doesn't get overwhelmed, because he can't really defend himself. Any of the actions you do with the crystal tend to degrade its health. It may break and you have to restart.
You learn something new every day. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's because you never carried the rock.
Nope.
Not sure why all of these spawn here, but
Because it's fun.
The DPS seem to love it.
yeah, you can head over there and take them down. Might be bugged. I think they're supposed to head down the set path, but fail to do so.
No, we don't want
None of the DPS complain anyway about that, so.
Just don't forget about the guy carrying the rock.
And you want to be ready in the middle for when the rock goes in now.
I always wait, give them time to get themselves ready.
Yeah, you give your team a chance to spread out before the crystal goes into the altar, shall we call it, and the Gatekeeper boss appears.
Smash him.
Yeah, you have a set time to take him down before he shields himself, and you have to close 4 gates dotted around. In above tier 1 gear and modded, shouldn't be an issue at all. You can take him down in the first rotation.
It's always good to remember your supercharges for this point though, and don't waste them earlier.
So we let him shield up. If you do head into the shield, as you've seen Tess do, you get knocked back. Can't do any damage to him. You need to go around and close those 4 gates. Protecting those 4 gates is an envoy of enemies.
Make sure to move as one group. At least when you're
the best policy.
Yeah, exactly. At least when you're at the gear level that we are doing it in right now. And there's the handy shield.
That's exactly the reason why I love having shield and a controller loadout.
They're a very useful utility to have in your loadout. Lots of situations they can make or break the raid.
Head over to the next section, hit the button, and off you go.
Not to go off on a rant about insect farm again, but this is exactly why I don't like it, because it's so slow.
If if you wouldn't mind the speed of it, would it be worth it? Like healing wise?
Yeah,
The amount,
but it's
the
the
amount of
weapon
additional
as
healing I
well,
get-
really.
Don't
the
like
amount
the
of
hand blasters actually.
Mm.
Well, yeah.
So we
I
switch
find the
to-
amount of additional healing's not that huge.
It's not. It used to be awesome, but
Switch to Anher's perspective. Before you hit that last button, you want everyone to get into position again. It depends how far down his health has gone. We've taken him down sufficient enough to know we'd get him on that rotation. But if you've been a bit slower, get yourselves in position before you do anything. And he dies and you head off to the final boss.
looking at the stats of those items, just in case you need it.
At one point, this gate here was worse than the final boss. Try to get your entire team through it without it locking and trapping people outside.
Oh,
was
yeah.
a
Oh god, that
nightmare.
was annoying.
Very.
It was that. What was it there for? About 4 or 5 months?
Yeah,
It was such a pain.
you had to be
Was
lined
there-
up perfectly and step over at the same time.
Originally, there wasn't a gate there, so it was when they actually put it in bugged.
Yeah, I remember that. You could just fly in if you died.
Yep.
So we've got Black Adam as the final boss. Probably one of my most favourite fights. Down to the dynamics of the fight. You know what's coming, but he's got these different phases he'll go through. So that initial phase is just an all-out tank and spank. You see there he did his Shazam and blew people back. Best to block.
Black Adam smash.
Yep, he's absorbed Giganta's powers and has grown. Very hard hitting. You do not want to be caught.
close.
Yep, when he screams, "I'll cleave you in two," and slams his hand down right there.
He's
So you can
just
see it hit the
impossible
tank for
to
1-3-6-4.
He's impossible to tank. He just hops and jumps everywhere. All you can do is chase him and hope his attacks hit you.
Best thing to do is just block whenever he's looking at you.
Stay behind him.
As another note, he does a Shazam and blast you back every single time he changes phase, and
There goes
if
the
this
boost.
happens, he also does a cutscene. And if people are down when he goes into the cutscene, there's a chance that their timer will have gone by the time the cutscene ends. So if someone goes down, try to hold off DPS on them until you get them back up again.
I always try and pop a heal just before he knocks everyone back.
New phase, and he has absorbed Zatanna's powers.
This is the deadliest phase.
Yeah,
Any
you can
stage
see
of
him
the
Especially for elite DPSers.
firing out those white orbs. You get hit by those, it's going to hurt. So you need to stay behind him.
I was
Yeah.
doing this raid earlier today, and a team in full tier 4 and mods, and 2 melee DPS got killed by that phase, and this is a tier 1 raid. This is
Yeah.
it is not something you can take lightly.
No, the thing is that if you just get hit by one of those orbs that he shoots out, like if you're ranged DPSs, it's not that bad, but like most DPSers nowadays, they tend to get up close and personal, and they get hit by all of them at once, and you die.
This lightning phase, the lightning spreads out towards the whole arena, and an old trick that works quite well is to stick to the outside of the arena and kite round the
The outer
outside,
rim.
stay out of the middle.
Yep, stick to the outer rim and keep moving.
Yep.
The one other thing about the wave of balls that he shoots out in the Zatanna phase is that he does it twice. So quite often the DPS will get hit with the first one, they'll go down, somebody will leap in to res them, and they'll get hit with the second wave. So if you do go are going to go into res someone, wait until you see the second wave pass.
Yeah, stick to the outer rim and avoid the balls, basically.
You see he's transitioned to the Brother Blood phase. This is probably the most straightforward of them all. You still want to be careful, but the ads he spawns, don't worry about those. Just stay on him, take him down as fast as you can. He did a Shazam and transitioned to Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate's got a lot of nasty tricks as well.
You can see those floating anks heading towards you. You got to keep moving.
Yeah, they will follow you around. They can't be killed.
Yeah, you can't kill you can't kill him, and then wait till you have one left. That's how we used to do it, and then someone just guides that one around, and the others can just focus on Black Adam.
I didn't know that.
You want to watch your feet as well. You can see the yellow orbs. Get out of those as soon as you can. And Black Adam's been taken down.
It was definitely no treachery of Helic Foss.
And those waters definitely aren't tainted.
Well, they are now.
She needs a new moisturiser.
It's interesting we haven't seen the end of this story arc yet.
Always thought it was going to be in new map with the DLC 3 with the raids.
Yep. Not enough magic.
Well, there was talk about the Trigon content in the future, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one
that's
after the
yeah.
faces, isn't it?
Can only hope that the rest of this comes out. It includes the story. It was probably one of my favourite raids.
Yeah, we need a Siegfried and Roy raid to finish off the magic arc.
And on that note, thank you for watching. Hope it's been useful. And we'll see you next time when we tackle Batcave 3.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.